expertise, some people miss. Women are not eligible. They were simply speaking from their heart and mind that women cannot do the job of a forest guard. Might be right, but they have to justify it. So the court allowed her, she sat in the examination as well as in the interview, and her merit was finally selected. And she had to be employed. Later on, the department made certain amendments in their rules. Accordingly, what I mean to say was that it was a case of discrimination since it was not precisely mentioned in the job advertisement or job requisition. We simply assume that speaks of our beliefs, faulty beliefs and biases. And it went on for perhaps years and years until it was checked. So we need to highlight these things. We need to bring it into the awareness of people. That is important. Impact of discrimination and harassment. It kills achievement motivation. The need to achieve is human, and humans differ in their degree of need for achievement. Some people are more achievement oriented than others, but irrespective of that, where there is a discrimination, it dampens your urge to do well, to excel. Especially in a middle and lower level position where the job is of routine type and it is well structured, and the employees depend on the assessment of the supervisors. Especially when the individual employee is an external. This is something psychological. There are two types of people, external and internal. Internal can be satisfied by their own achievement, but external rely on others to reward and appreciate them. Where there is discrimination and the people are dependent on their bosses and supervisors who have to reward them, then externals are more hurt with the policies of discrimination than internals, who can perhaps be happy in their own self that they have done something right, although that has not been appreciated. So, and moreover, it hurts individuals' dignity, it hurts communities' dignity. There are symptoms, psychological difficulties, emotional disturbances, lack of mental health and well-being. You feel frustrated and dejected, and it certainly hits one's self-esteem. These observations are based on a publication of Journal of Health and Behavioral Sciences. Moreover, there is a close relationship between emotions and our functioning or performance. A discriminated person would be a frustrated person and will be emotionally disturbed. And when we are emotionally disturbed, our memory, attention, and cognitive functioning is hampered, which then leads to poor productivity and poor performance. So it is highly counterproductive. And moreover, there are economic losses, there are human losses, and there are many tangible and intangible losses to the organizations. For example, in a decade's time, a study reported that the cases of claims against discrimination have doubled, and the fine have been 5 times. So that means discriminatory policies are such that the organization has to bear the cost in terms of fine and other things. Next. Back. Similarly, discrimination cuts down the level of commitment and dedication that employees have with their job, with their employer, with their work. And secondly, it cuts down the interpersonal facilitation. Usually we work in team and there are team competitions. But if there is a discrimination, there will be no team building. Our relationships will be poorer and there will be lesser consideration for others. So these contextual factors also undermine productivity. Next. Harassment, which is the twin ailment, which is the theme of the conference, is an offensive or hostile workplace condition that employees face, and this is a stressor. This is a constant stressor for some people. A stressful condition hampers our concentration, our interest in the job, and our work. Harassment is an attitude, a belief. It is based on many stereotypical beliefs. And it is a morbid thought, it is a faulty perception, and a behavioral disposition, usually offensive and objectionable to others. And this contradicts with human rights considerations. A kind of harassment is sexual harassment, which has been quite a lot researched abroad, and in a study on 80 incidents of sexual harassment is gazing or staring or such behaviors. Equal employment opportunity experts' judgment was taken by showing episodes of harassment to give their judgment whether there was a harassment or not. And contrary to that, general common employees of the organizations were presented with the same material and their judgment was also required. Interestingly, there was a lot of agreement between the two. So to judge cases of harassment, you don't have to have experts to decide. Even common people, general people can come to the conclusion. Next. Causes: age, sex, ethnicity, race, etc., etc. And more than that, and on top of it, lack of professional ethics. Usually discrimination and harassment is contrary to your professional ethics and professionalism. And that speaks of lack of fair practices on an organizational site. It is rather these harassment and when they exist, they are very counterproductive, and many times many morbid behaviors are activated because of these episodes. So there is a need to bring in organizational justice and fair play, and so that people are confident that there will be remedies and there will be some correction and they will come forward. One way to ensure organizational justice and fair play is to remove ambiguities. At times there are rules and procedures